As you guys have probably already seen, Lucid Motors has had a major rally, but we are up about 6.5% as we currently speak because we are seeing a gamma squeeze. Now, I want to go over this gamma squeeze situation as well as the short interest and how many shorts have covered since we have went from about $22 per share up to about $40 per share, now at about $39.17 per share as we currently speak. There is a lot of option activity. I think that's key when discussing how high we can go and how high this rally will last. As well as that, there are some fundamental things that are supporting Lucid Motors at its current valuation. Now, I'm not saying this current valuation is correct or not, but there are some things to definitely go over. And if you are curious on my stance, Lucid Motors, yes, is a large position of my portfolio. I believe if you believe strongly in a company, you should have that the highest position in your portfolio, and you should be overweighted on that company. These are only my opinions, and I take the full risk if Lucid Motors turns out to be a flop or not. I also do have trades in this, and I want to show you guys my position as well. So let's get into this video. Hit that like button for me. Consider subscribing to the channel. Check out Moomoo if you guys have not already. Deposit $100, get up to $350 in free stock. They have free 24/7 financial news. You'll get notifications on your phone that are very helpful when you're trying to place trades. The faster you get news, the better your investments and your trades will be. As well as that, free pre-market and post-market trading, as well as zero commission. So check that out if you guys have not already. If you guys want access to all of my trades in real time, link for the buy and sell alerts also down there as well. So let's talk about Lucid Motors. Like I said, we have seen a major rally going from about $22 all the way up to $41.60 per share. Now we've been hovering in between $33 and $40 per share, with this $40 level being a major resistance point throughout all of today. You guys can see we topped out at $39.80 per share, came down to about $38.50 per share. Now we are climbing back up. Hopefully can retest and break out past $40 per share. Currently up only 5.77%. It's very, very volatile, so we are moving around a lot today on some very high volume as well. Let's check the volume for the day, and we are already coming in at higher than yesterday's volume at 44 million. Yesterday's volume was only 40 million. So you are seeing a lot of market makers that are having to hedge their positions, and that's where you're getting the gamma squeeze. And just so everybody is aware of what is going on and what a gamma squeeze is, let's say you bought this $40 call, which we are seeing a lot of that happening. These do expire today. 22,000, almost 23,000 for open interest. These are contracts that are held in people's brokerage accounts at the current moment. The volume on the day, how many contracts have actually traded hands, at about 63,000. Very, very high numbers. Now, let's say you bought this $40 strike expiring today for $32. That means your break even is $40.32 per share. So what the market makers will do, because the market makers control about 90% of the back end of this open interest, essentially what happens if Lucid Motors continues to run up, the closer you get to $40, they want to stay basically delta neutral. So by doing that, and in order to stay delta neutral, they have to buy shares, and the higher we do get, and ultimately if we break out past 40, you'll see more shares having to get bought by the market makers to stay delta neutral. And that's essentially the gamma squeeze. For each contract, that controls 100 shares that have to be purchased, and that's just not even considering the FOMO buyers or just regular investors that are buying into the stock. So you are seeing a lot of activity on the option chain, especially expiring today, but you're also seeing a lot of activity across the board expiring on November 19th as well. You are seeing a lot of open interest, about 12,351 at the $40 strike, 1,200 at the 41, 2,400 at the 42, at the 45, 6,000. And that's basically the story for all of this option chain. And really, it's not too far-fetched to imagine Lucid Motors at its current valuation of about $50 billion. Because the main reason of this is the Rivian IPO is valued at about $60 billion. Now, they have started manufacturing their vehicles, but I cannot find anything saying that they have actually started delivering their vehicles. It says last week and first deliveries are coming soon. The vehicle is a milestone towards electric vehicles being well normal. Now, this actual company, Rivian Automotive Inc., is backed by Amazon. They have about a 20% stake, as well as Ford does have a stake in them as well. So if you're going to value another basically pre-revenue company at $60 billion, it makes a lot of sense to sustain Lucid Motors valuation at about $50 billion. Yes, Rivian does have more heavyweights like Amazon invested in them, but you know, if you're going to value one company, like I said, at $60 billion, it's not too far-fetched to see another company that is actually currently delivering vehicles at $50 billion valuation. So I think that's why we're not cratering, and I don't think we're going to go to super low levels. Hopefully, we're not over $42 by February, because my trades will go against me, but we will talk about that when we get into my trades. As well as that, there is something else you guys need to know. So Lucid Air users show DC fast charging peak at over 250 kilowatt hours. So essentially, let's just read this. The first batch of Lucid Air cars is on the roads now, and we just came across the first report about DC fast charging results released by Tesla to Lucid. As we can see in the tweets, the Air Dream Edition with a 118 kilowatt battery was able to get up to 251 kilowatt at a Electrify America fast charging station. The value fluctuated between 245 and 251 kilowatt hours at about 1/5 state of charge. That's a pretty good result. Not yet at 300 kilowatt mentioned by Lucid, but we don't know the details, whether 300 kilowatt is possible right away, or if there will be a software update, whether it's possible for Electrify America chargers, as the car has a 900 volt battery system, and whether the battery was pre-conditioned for maximum charging rate. So investors, obviously, they're seeing this as a great sign, just because of the fact that they are pretty close to that 300 kilowatt hours that they have initially, boasted about as Lucid Motors, right? The company, that's what they said. Getting pretty close to that number. Not quite sure if there will be an update to actually do that or not. And Lucid Motors is still rallying up 7.65%, about to break out past $40. It's not bad right now to initiate some day trades or a longer out option contract. I don't personally like going for the weeklies, just because that's a lot of risk, and if you want to play it bigger, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to do that. But you are seeing a lot of hedging from the market makers as we currently speak, and I do have some trades in this at the current moment. Now let's go over the short squeeze aspect of this trade as well, and then let's get into my actual trades, and that'll pretty much conclude this video. And then I want to give you guys at the end of the video kind of what I expect to happen. And obviously we're going to see a pullback, but how long and how high could this rally actually go? That's a great question. I think I can provide a lot of clarity on that. So as far as the short squeeze aspect of this trade, we're looking at 7.21% short interest of free float, 39.14 million shares that are still sold short. This number has came down from about 55 million at the peak, but still a very high number. That's almost all of today's volume alone going in for essentially shorts covering on their short position. So to put that into perspective, very large amount still. Share utilization is at 61.02%. I don't think people are really shorting Lucid Motors at the current time. I don't think it makes a lot of sense to, especially after this Rivian valuation. It kind of, like I said, makes sense to see Lucid at this valuation. But eventually shorts will come in, and when they want to, there is about 40% of the available shares that have not been lent out that are currently able to be lent out. So keep that in mind. There is some ammo for these short sellers. But the free float on loan is 7.84%. Comparing that to 7.21% short interest of free float, there is, not too much shares that are out on loan that have not been sold short or returned back. So only about 0.6% of the actual free float on loan that could be sold short that has not been already. Hopefully that makes some sense to you guys. And Lucid Motors is still rallying up 8.4% as we currently speak. What an incredible move we are seeing. Now, I do have a trade in this. I actually just initiated this this trade as well. I had made a trade earlier and booked about $100 in profit on that. I didn't expect to keep rallying like this, but we are seeing this gamma squeeze continuing on. I'm only up about 8% as we currently speak. $395 is what I bought it for. It's worth $428 at the current moment, November 19th, and my break even is $43.93. I'm probably looking to flip out of this by the end of the day. I think Lucid could probably close the day up about 10%. That would not surprise me to see this, you know, come back down and then a slow and steady melt back up over $40 per share. Now, let's talk about the trades that are going against me in my long position. So I have no plans to sell this anytime soon unless I get exercise on my covered calls. That's why I said hopefully it stays under $42 by February. If not, I can roll out of these. We're just gonna have to wait and see. But my market value is almost $12,000, up about $800 today alone. In general, up about $5,500 or 85%. And I actually just went big time on Lucid Motors September 5th. It was my sister's birthday, and I was just doing a lot of due diligence, and I like the company, I like what I seen, so I did go bigger on Lucid Motors that day. So not too long ago, about 2 months, literally it's November 5th, so 2 months ago went long on this. So a great return nonetheless. But average cost $21.46 on 300 shares, bringing my portfolio diversity to 25.50%. So a substantial percentage of my portfolio. Now I do have Lucid, like I said, $42 calls expiring February 18th, 2022. I sold these for $215. They're worth $800 as we currently speak. Now I can get out of these. Hopefully, let's see. We'll see if they update the actual option chain. I'm down $1,700 on these, or 268.84%. Now I'm not actually down as far as portfolio value in these at the current moment because Lucid Motors is still under $42, and factoring in my actual, you know, premium that I got paid for doing this, I would really be selling these shares for about $44.15 per share. Now let's take a look at the option chain. If you're somebody that is in the same boat as me and you did something stupid like this alongside me, you can essentially say, if you sold these out, right, you could in theory, because you paid, or I collected $215, you could essentially say, hey, I would have to buy these back for almost $800, $793, but factor in the $215 you bought a piece. You're looking at, just rough math here, what, $575 is what you'd have to get back. Now you could go out to, let's say, let's just go $50 strike, gets $575 back. Essentially, you would break even on this trade, factoring in the premium that you already paid. Or if you don't want to do that per se, if you don't want to lose, you know, buying power in your portfolio, you could buy these back. And obviously you'd lose a lot of money, so you want to open another one, go out to, say, the Mays, and then you go out to, let's say, the $50 strike, and these are $823. You would have to buy those back for $790, so you would make an additional about $30 per contract, but now you would agree to sell your shares at $50 per share. So that is actually what I may do. I don't think we will actually be above $42 by February, so it's a really tough call to make at the current moment, and to extend that out to May, I don't know if that makes a whole lot of sense at the current moment. I might just want to get some calls to offset if I do have to obviously sell my shares at $42, and if this does continue. But obviously, just looking at the charts, we're going to come down at some point in the future. We can't just keep going up forever, especially being over $40 is a huge level. The prior resistance levels really only at about $33 per share, so that should turn into a support, and that's probably where we would find ourselves to the downside if we did come down. Really, you know, $35 per share looks to be a decent level of support as well. That's where the 200-day moving average is as well, at least on the 15-minute candlestick chart. 200-day moving average is at about $25 per share on the daily candlestick chart. So that's the situation here. As far as how high I think we could go, I think with this momentum, with this gamma squeeze, it's really hard to tell, but we could definitely approach this $50 level here in the next week or so. I don't know. I'm not a fortune teller and I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm not telling you guys what to do. Do whatever you guys want to do, but this is definitely uncharted territory. $50 looks to be where we would get that next level of real resistance if we do continue to gas above $40 per share. So keep that in mind. Hopefully you guys got some value out of this video. If you do, hit that like button for me, consider subscribing to the channel, and as always, let me know your price prediction on Lucid Motors. Are you trading this? Are you excited? Are you ready? Do you have your emotions in check? Are you ready to maneuver through your positions? Are you long? Are you short on the stock? Let me know all of that information. Check out the links for free stock and the link for the buy and sell alerts. As always, love all you guys. I will see you in the next video.